How big can you really get as a natural athlete? There's a lot of debate online over whether there's a natural limit to how big you can get, or if you'll just keep getting bigger as long as you never stop working out. Today, we're getting to the bottom of this. So the natural genetic limit, there's so much controversy around this on social media. It's one of the most highly debated topics I've ever seen. You know, there's a lot of people who are science-based who say, yeah, depending on your genetics, there's a limit to how big you can get. And there's other people with grit mindsets who say, no, it doesn't matter. Even if you only gain 1 pound of muscle a year, you can always get bigger. Now, if you're a natural lifter, I'm sure you've also wondered, is there a limit to how big I can get? Am I training for no reason? Should I keep trying, or should I just maintain a low body fat year round because I'll never be bigger than this? You should definitely check this entire video out if you're natural, because we're going to look into a couple of different things that will give you some answers. I personally have noticed in my experience in the gym that some of my friends seem to have not gotten bigger over the last few years despite still training hard, while others just keep getting bigger and bigger. And I know they don't take steroids. And at the same time, I've also met other people who, no matter how hard they train, they're just behind the rest of the pack. They're not getting as big as fast, and they're not getting anywhere near as strong as the rest of us. So genetics definitely play a big role into this. But are we actually able to determine what the limit is? The first thing that we're going to take a look at is the Berkhan formula. Now, what is this? Basically, what this formula does is it estimates the biggest you can be naturally based on your height at 5 to 6% body fat, aka your stage weight. Now, a lot of people got mad because the number came back low, but I don't think some of you guys really understand how lean 5% body fat is. This is a picture of me at my most shredded point, okay? I was nowhere near 5%. I literally could not withstand dieting longer. This is what 5% really looks like. It's so lean. So we're gonna mess around with the Berkhan formula and see what my natural limit is at 5% body fat based on my height. All right, here we have maximum muscle potential calculator. Check this out. All you need is your height. Interesting. So based on the information, my maximum muscle potential is 161.5 to 170. This is actually insane. Now, some of you might say, what? 160? 170? That's light, bro. But here's the thing. At 5%, do you know how big 170 at 5% is? That means after I get off the stage and binge on Crumble Cookie and fill out, I'm probably going to be at least 180. If you want to do it at home, okay, take your height in centimeters. For me, that's about 175. Subtract 100 from it, that's your weight in kilograms. So 75 times 2.205 is like 165 pounds, which is what I could be at 5%. This is sick. I don't know why some people got so pissed off over this. 165 at 5%, I'm still nowhere near that. Last time I was 165, I think I was like 10 or 11%. Now, I like what it says here because this is what some of you guys who are so smart in my comments, you're literally geniuses, smartest people I've ever met. This, you know, you say, oh, this is inaccurate, bro. I was this and that. Okay, check out the last paragraph. This formula might give a reasonable estimate to most, but it might not be as accurate when it comes to assessing the muscle building potential of those who are genetically gifted. Cool. Now, according to this paragraph, it clearly states some people will be bigger than most, but why is that the case? Obviously, genetics is the most important factor when it comes to bodybuilding. Genetic potential, right? Everyone's different and you cannot change this. I've seen people who've taken steroids who look not as good as people that are genetically gifted who are natural. And actually, the most accurate way that is the most widely accepted in the fitness community is going to be the ffmi calculator, fat free mass index. This is what all the science-based guys use. It's the most widely accepted right now. What is it? It's more widely accepted, and it takes into account your muscle mass, fat mass relative to your height. Allows people to see if somebody is natural or not. It's the most accurate way to measure if somebody's lying about their natty status. But before we look at that one, let's check out a more advanced version of the Berkhan formula. This one's actually my favorite of the three, the Casey Butt formula. Now, this one is actually considered one of the more accurate ones because it also takes into account bone structure and bone size, right? Which is something a lot of people don't consider when talking about genetics. So it actually asks you for your wrist and ankle size as well, which is sick. All right, so the Casey Butt formula right here, more advanced than Berkhan, etc. It takes into account other things. Cool, so I already put it in. I'm 5'9", okay, 8.5 inch ankle circumference, 6.5 inch wrists. I have actually thin bones. My wrists, I'm pretty sure were smaller than my last girlfriend's, bro. I'm gonna kill myself. Wow. Maximum lean body mass 177. Holy crap. Bulked maximum body weight 230. Maximum muscle measurements at 10% body fat. 16.93 inch arms. That's basically 17. Bro, the last time I was 10%, I had 15.5 inch arms. That's cool to see. Calves, 17 inches at 10%. Bro, my calves are 15. This is really good to see if it's true. The moment we've all been waiting for, fat-free mass index. Let's check this one out. It's apparently the most accurate, the most widely used. Greg Doucette uses it. A lot of people who do natty or not use it to tell if someone's capping or BSing about their natty status. Because once your ffmi goes above a certain number, it's very unlikely that you're still natural unless you have God-given genetics, top 0.1%. So let's check that one out. Calculate your own natural potential or find out if someone's natty or not. This is sick. This is why a lot of people use it. You guys should definitely mess with this at home, by the way, just for fun. Okay, we're gonna use Imperial. I'm a male. Current body fat percentage, let's just say 20. Now, based on this, so apparently I only have 6 more pounds left of lean body mass to gain. You guys might look at this and say, well, only 6 pounds left. Bro, if I actually have 6 more pounds of muscle to gain, it's gonna go right to my thighs and then I'm gonna blow up because my legs are hella underdeveloped. You know, these things will only be accurate to a certain extent, but the reason we did this is to see what my fat-free mass index is. 23.3. I don't know if that's accurate. It seems kind of high because I don't really think my genetics are that good to be in the 23s, because as you can see here, the average steroid user is 24.8. I have been lifting for a pretty long time, and I feel like I am getting close to my genetic limit if there is one. So yeah, I could be in the 23s. You know, at the end of the day, these are just estimates. Really, the answer to the question, how big can you get naturally, is who gives a I'm not gonna lie to you, who cares? Because at the end of the day, everyone's unique, right? You're never gonna know based on the number on the website or some kind of extreme Albert Einstein calculation what your limit is. And honestly, who cares what your limit is? Because you probably would never even reach it unless for years on end, you perfectly dialed in intense training, nutrition, and recovery. Nobody does that. Even Chris Bumstead has days where he messes up, okay? So unless you completely optimize everything perfectly for years, yeah, you're probably still gonna have upwards growth. You can always work harder. That's why I don't think any of these calculators matter, especially because everyone's genetics are different. Even if it told me, oh, I could be 175 at 5%, maybe I can't. Maybe I could only go to 168. Maybe I could go to 190. Who knows? The only way you're ever gonna find out is if you try and you actually work out hard as hell, and you actually dial in your calories, and you sleep enough every night, take that shit seriously. So yeah, I feel like, guys, we shouldn't pay so much attention to stuff like this. These are just really fun calculators to use, but at the end of the day, you'll never know unless you try. So with that being said, this is Ski Mask Duet signing out. Let's create the best version of ourselves and the most naturally jacked version of ourselves to give to the world, okay? Peace.